Well. Who do we have here? You might be a little bit weirded out by the topic of this video. Allow me to pull up a chair. Oh my god, I look so small. Yeah, I hope that the subject matter of this video is not too straying away from my usual content. Yes, this is a 25-minute video on Pokemon of all things, and specifically very minuscule aspects of the most recent Pokemon game in the long run. I'm basically gonna be going over why I think the gym leaders are fantastic, because they do such a great job of showing you all the mechanics, the new mechanics of the game, and why the Elite Four are honestly pretty disappointing in the grand scheme of things. I had a script written for a couple days, and then Ashby uploaded a video where he made his own Fakemon. That's when I recorded this. When that video came up, that was the day that I recorded this, so it's been a while. It's been a while. I recorded this in January. Yeah, real quick, before the video starts, I just want to address something. The massive Caparajah in the room, that's Duplo. Don't mind her. She's very friendly. There's like 3 people who are gonna get that reference. It's gonna be Dev, Ashby, and Oscar. Hi guys, hi Pokemon buddies. So basically, my YouTube channel has gone up by 2.6 thousand subscribers. That is amazing. That is actually so cool. And just thank you guys so much for actually subscribing from the Mixmaster Corn collaboration video. That is one of the videos I'm the most proud of ever. I love how it came out. It sounds so good. If you didn't, I'm not even gonna say if you didn't know. Of course you know. That's my most viewed video. If you know my channel, you probably know my channel from that video now. But yeah, 2.6 thousand. Almost 2.6 thousand. When that video went up, I had 1.6 thousand. Just barely 1.6 thousand. So my channel has basically gone up by 1,000 subscribers. If you like it, please show support by clicking the like button. I'd never ask for likes, but I mean, this is like my longest video ever, and I really hope it does well. And the most effort put into a video ever, because this took me 5 months of editing on iMovie, by the way. I did this whole thing on iMovie. This is a testament to how awful iMovie is. Took me 5 months. Oh my god, I'm so happy to finally get this over with. I'm getting a new editing software really soon that I'm gonna have to pay for, you know? Oh my. Anyways, I'm gonna go play Pokemon Infinite Fusion now. Alright, new location. The window is right. The window that you just saw me in front of is right there. It's still open because it's really hot up here and I'm wearing a hoodie because I want to look cool. I've never made a video like this. This is basically a commentary video. And if you hear my audio going all wacky, it's because I'm holding the microphone. So, but actually,
a few minutes later.
Okay, now I feel professional. Alright. As I mentioned in the very scuffed, off-the-cuff, not scripted intro, I'm going to be talking about Scarlet and Violet, which is one of the most infuriating experiences of my entire life. I'm mainly going to be talking about the Elite Four in this video, but I do want to make more videos about Scarlet and Violet, and maybe other stuff in general, depending on how well this does. So since I'm talking about the Elite Four, I'm going to talk about what I do like about the game first, and how the Elite Four compares. So we're going to start with the gym leaders. I keep doing that. Why'd I do that? So Scarlet and Violet's new thing they introduced this generation with Pokemon is the terrestrialization mechanic, which I think is really cool. I like competitive Pokemon, so I think it's really interesting what that does for the longevity of the game. But then also, when you're actually playing the game, it adds a lot of interest to the gym leaders, which have been mostly the same for 25 years. The last time we got a break from the gym leaders was Gen 7. Everybody complained about the trials. Like, when you have the same system of monotype gym leaders that like you go in with a type that they're immune to, and every now and then there's gonna be like, oh no, electric type gym leader has a flying type, I can't use earthquake. It's the same thing over and over again with every single game. And then Alola happened and they switched to trials and they're like, no, go back to gyms. And then Gen 8 had the least original gyms possible, with somehow the most character put into the gym leaders. I don't have... Not a single gym leader had more than 4 Pokemon. Not a single gym leader had more than 4 Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Alright, let's talk about the Scarlet and Violet gym leaders, because I think they are very cool, and they take full advantage of the terrestrialization mechanic. Honestly, really refreshing for this kind of Pokemon game. There is an argument to be made that it's kind of predictable. All the Pokemon still are the type of the gym. It adds a little bit more of interest into the gym challenge and makes it actually more interesting than just walking in with a super effective type on theirs and just sweeping everything. Let's talk about the gym leaders. I'm not going to go in any order because I think not going in any order represents how you get to fight them in the game, and that just kind of makes it a little bit more interesting. So you don't know who I'm going to talk about next, because we're going to start with Katie, bug type gym leader. Her ace is a Teddiursa, which I think is adorable because she's a baker and she bakes sweet treats for Pokemon, and bears are like a representation of like sweet stuff, right? You know, you put like bears in a jar of honey. That's a plot point in the Bee movie. I made a Bee movie reference in 2022. Am I irrelevant? Second, Iono, because I think I did Iono second. Iono has a really cool team, because I think it's the first time that the third gym leader has had 4 Pokemon since like the 2D games. Like, I'm not even kidding, it's been that long. Her ace is a Miss Magius, which I think that's super cool because Miss Magius has the ability Levitate. Magius is the only Pokemon that doesn't have any weaknesses, which is really interesting. I like how they did that. And also it's got Charge Beam, which I didn't know Miss Magius could learn Charge Beam, because that really freaked me out. I'm like, wait, do Terrestrial Pokemon learn more moves than they normally get? Have I not known? Third, Brassius. Brassius was from the trailer. He had a Sudowoodo. He called it the Truly Wudo, and I think that is adorable. And also I relate to him because he's an artist and he has a lot of statues around the town he's from, and everyone looks at them and is like, why is this shit here? Like, it doesn't look good. And he's like, it's my art. And I'm like, yes, I understand how you feel. Fourth, Grusha. His ace, Altaria. Altaria was the ace of Winona from Emerald. Winona was the third to last gym leader, and her ace was also an Altaria. Altaria's not that good, Grusha. Ursa Titan is probably stronger than the Altaria. 2 Winonas out of 7. What am I talking about? Sixth, fifth? Who? I don't even know what order I'm doing. Norman. I have Gen 3 on the brain. Larry's ace is a normal type. I feel like if he had any other Pokemon that wasn't a normal type, terrestrialize it into a normal type, it almost wouldn't feel normal. It actually makes perfect sense for him to have a normal type Pokemon that terrestrializes into a normal type. It fits in thematically. I don't know what else to tell you. I think it's hilarious. And also he also uses the same Pokemon on his Elite Four team. He's a dual type user. He uses normal and flying types, and his ace is a normal and flying type. Rhyme. They did Rhyme dirty. If this game had voice acting, Rhyme would be my favorite gym leader, but this game doesn't have voice acting, so Rhyme is not my favorite gym leader. Her ace though, Toxtricity, I just want to say I saw it coming. And then, here's the cool part. Toxtricity learns the move Hex, which does bonus damage if you status move, and it's a poison electric type, which are both like status move types. So it could paralyze you or poison you, and then use the move Hex, which does more damage if you have a status move condition, and even more damage now that it's a ghost type. So it's a great strategy. Rhyme is a freaking genius. Who's left? Oh, it's the fashionista. Yeah, the psychic type gym leader, Tulip. Her ace is a flower. What is it called? Gossifleur? Is it I think it's Florges. Yeah, it's a psychic type Florges, which, I mean, it makes sense thematically, but Florges just kind of like not a strong Pokemon. But yeah, I don't like Tulip's team. I think it's nice that she has a Girafarig, but it doesn't fit her like fancy vibe. There's a siren that hasn't stopped. That's kind of concerning. All right, so that's all the stuff that I liked about the gym leaders, which there was a lot. I think the gym leaders have great personalities, interesting teams, and the first gym leader doesn't have 2 Pokemon anymore. I love that we've graduated from that. It was a trend they started in Gen 3, I think, to give the first gym leader more than 2 Pokemon to make them slightly challenging. Pretty good. You know what isn't pretty good? The Elite Four. They suck. So, interesting use of the terrestrialization mechanic, a good showcase and mix of like older gen Pokemon and new gen Pokemon that fit the character, not just the type. They said, let's not do that again, and let's make the Elite Four have 1 new Pokemon each. Their Terra type Pokemon Ace isn't gonna change. It's not gonna be like the first Elite Four member is a ground type, and then they have a water type that terrestrializes. No, every single Pokemon on that team matches the type, and then nothing changes. Before I move on in this section of the video, I'm going to go over what I thought the Elite Four was going to be like when I first picked up the game, because I went into the game completely blind. The only spoilers for Pokemon that I had seen were, not even kidding, Revavroom and the Pepper, the Final Evolution. I hated them both. And I got a shiny Revavroom at some point, so it made me like it even more. His name was Glowmobile. I didn't know who the Elite Four was going to be, because at that point I had seen Rika, I had seen Poppy, and then I knew Hassel. So I go into the Elite Four, right? And then I see Rika. And from the members I had seen so far, Rika and Hassel didn't really look like they followed any type. Like, you could put any Pokemon next to Rika, and I would be like, yup, that's her Pokemon team. Not like a Whiscash and a Clodsire. Not that I thought that's what the Elite Four were going to be, but that was like extreme wishful thinking. Another reason why I thought that would be the case, there's 5 Team Star bases, 5 Titans you have to defeat, and 8 gyms. And 5 plus 5 plus 8 is 18. And each of those boss battles specialize in a different type. And so I was like, if every single type in the game is accounted for, what are you gonna make the Elite Four? Like, they're not gonna make a type overlap, right? They're not going to intentionally make a type overlap, right? Yeah, they intentionally made a type overlap. The Elite Four members' types are Ground, Steel, Flying, and Dragon. I already beat up the Titans, though, who specialize in those types, and you left out Rock for whatever reason. You couldn't make Rika have a ground rock type. Give Rika a Garganacl that terrestrializes into a ground type at least. Like, that would have been more interesting, but no. They're all, and then it's the same thing where their ace is the type, and then terrestrializes into that type. Her ace is a Clodsire. Rika's ace is a Clodsire. And her opener is a Whiscash. That's gross. I hate Whiscash with a passion, and seeing an Elite Four member use a Whiscash made me unreasonably angry. And then seeing that her ace was a Clodsire is like, I would expect to see a Clodsire in the 3rd gym, not the Elite Four. Like, Crasher Wake had a Quagsire, and he was like the 4th gym leader in Gen 4, I think. But yeah. All right, next thing we're gonna talk about is the Elite Four aesthetic. Also, if I say gyms when I'm talking about the Elite Four, I'm sorry. I have gyms on my brain. I wrote that in my script at some point, and then I kept saying gyms and repeating it to myself, and I'm like, oh, now I'm in the habit of calling the Elite Four members gym leaders, and I'm gonna put that in the video, and it's gonna make me look bad. But yeah, I'm sorry if I do that again. But yeah, next we're gonna talk about Elite Four aesthetic. Normally when the fire alarm turns on in your... You done yet? Our oven just does that whenever it decides to... Are you done? So gym aesthetic. I'm gonna go kind of off the cuff for this one because I wrote a script and then I'm like, well, I don't like it anymore. So I'm just gonna kind of go off on a tangent. The Elite Four in the past games have always visually looked kind of dull. I'm not talking about the more recent games. I'm talking about the older games. In Gen 1, you literally walked into a rectangular room and you fought the Elite Four member. And then you walked into another rectangular room, and maybe they were slightly different. And then in Gen 4, they're like, let's maybe change the color of the room. Maybe, I don't know. Kind of interesting, you know. And then Gen 5 came around and is like, we're gonna make we're just gonna make it good. Like I have Elite Four. It's probably not. I flash an image on the screen. Like, look at these. They look so good compared to what we had in the generation previous. That's what a climactic should look like. And then Gen 6 rolls around and is like, the Elite Four rooms are so good, they made it into a Smash Bros. Stage. They made what used to be a rectangular room with like a carpet and some lights got so good in the span of 2 games that they made it into a Smash Bros. Stage. That's so cool. Gen 7 comes along, and it's like, we're gonna make it a little bit less interesting. All the rooms are gonna look identical until the battle starts. Once the battle starts, it's like, doom, 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 doom. And then like a bunch of lights flash everywhere. And it's the color of the Elite Four member, and then the design changes for each one, but the rooms still look identical. It's just like the color changes. So they kind of went back to what they used to do in the older generations, but it was more stylized. And also, I don't believe for a second that Professor Kukui legally got the money to build that stadium in like the span of like, how long did it take him? I'm putting an Elite Four together, and it's just like, we're done. Professor Kukui, how did you get the money? Like in the anime, it's like a single battlefield with a bunch of people around it. That is so much more. That's what they did for Gen 8, actually. They were like, let's take the one that Kukui made in the anime from Gen 7, and we'll just make that one the one for Gen 8. Because it was like a single stadium. They didn't even have an Elite Four. Gen 8 sucks. We're not going to talk about it. And then Gen 9 rolls around, and they're like, we're going to not have separate rooms for all the gym leaders. The Elite Four. You finish the champion assessment quiz, the quiz part, and you walk in, and it's like a bunch of like blue panels all over the wall, and everything looks like it's kind of made of glass. It looks like my 9-year-old little brother told me that when he walked in, he said it looked like a house that somebody would make in creative mode Minecraft with nothing but diamond blocks. And I'm like, holy, he's so right. That's what it looked like. I walked in, right? And I had these expectations because, like, you know, the Elite Four always looks visually interesting when you walk in. And so I walk into a plain room with a bunch of glass walls, and I'm like, I went into coping mode. I'm like, they must be screens. Maybe the screens change and there's a bunch of projections of a battlefield. The scenery changes depending on the gym leader who comes in the room. No, it's glass blue walls for all 4 Elite Four members. The room doesn't change. There isn't even separate rooms. You just walk in, you beat Rika, and Rika's like, okay, Poppy, come on out. Was she waiting behind the elevator with Larry and Hassel for like 3 minutes while you finish the battle, just making small talk? She's like, all right, guys, gotta go. And then Larry and Hassel are just stuck in there awkwardly because Larry doesn't want to talk. Larry's just like, you make me uncomfortable, Hassel. I don't like working for Gita. Okay. And then Larry starts talking about how we're all slaves to the man and how he's so depressed with his life. And Hassel's like, bro. And then Larry is just like, all right, well, time to go beat up this child. And then he loses his will to live. I'm sorry, Larry. It sucks. It's just, it doesn't make sense lore-wise. It's a blank. It's like literally Gen 2 did the Elite Four better visually. How do you outdo a game from 20 years ago? You see, I'm mad about this. This made me mad. This makes me so mad. It looks so bad. All right. So now, in this part of the video, I'm done. I'm done talking about this. This part of the video is going to be anecdotes from my friends about what they thought about the Elite Four. Might do it over a Discord call, might just have them message me, depends on what they want to do. That's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna be working on fixing the Elite Four, because this video is just my problems with the Elite Four. But I'm gonna be working on a video series fixing the Elite Four. I'm gonna start with how to fix it visually, and then I'm gonna get into the actual team members and how I would switch it around. Or maybe I'll just make it, I might split it up into just 2 videos, like one start with Rika and Poppy and then Hassel and Larry. I'll probably do that. That sounds better. But yeah, I'll see you later. Bye, I guess.
The Gen 9 Elite Four. An interesting bunch, aren't they? I feel like... Okay, first off, I hate the baby. I don't like the baby at all. I don't like the baby. But the other... the baby. Let's go... I'm so sorry. I've already ruined your video, Socks. But overall, the other 3... as characters, I want more out of Rika. She seems interesting, and I like the backstory we get with... you gotta take the art classes to see the backstory with Hassel and the what's-his-face, the grass gym leader. And also there's Larry, who doesn't love Larry, come on. But as characters, they're pretty good, though I will say their battles felt kind of lackluster, you know? To me, personally, like, I kind of wish... I kind of wish they weren't, like, the types that the Titan... Well, that kind of works, because that way there's, like, a human specialist for each type, but my main criticism of the Elite Four in Gen 9, out of anything else, I hate that the last one was a dragon specialist. I would have been so cool if the only type to not have a specialist was dragon, but instead it was just rock. Well, Gita is kind of a rock specialist, I guess you could say, because she's got, like, the rock leader, but I think... Or rock Glumora, that thing, as her ace, but yeah. I don't remember the battles being too memorable, but I do actually think I did kind of struggle. They weren't, like, super hard, but I think it was Rika who I actually kind of struggled with a bit. My team was just kind of not built for ground type. But yeah, they're an interesting bunch. I want to punt the baby. I want to punt the baby into the sun. And no, not into the sun. That'd be too harsh. I want to punt her to the moon. So she'll go to the moon, and then she'll be like, "Oh, Raja, where am I?" And then she suffocates. Shut up, Alexa!
Elite Four. Despite this being a video about how much Socks hates the Elite Four, I think they're pretty cool, actually. I think they're alright. Rika, I don't know. She's my favorite, but I'm biased because I'm just very, attracted to, I gotta say, her, like, 2D artwork looks so much worse than she does it. Like, she looks stupid in the official art, but, like, in-game she looks great. I don't know. She's very attractive. Poppy, okay. Here's the thing about Poppy. She makes me kind of uncomfortable. I just hate, like, little baby-ah characters in general. I don't know. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. And, like, it's the whole gag. It's like, oh, it's like a little kid, but then, oh, it's so cool because he used, like, big, mean steel types. It's, like, cool, but also that's been done before in the past by Jasmine, and I think Jasmine did it better, is the thing. Larry, my man! Okay, Larry, they just didn't want to design a third Elite Four member. Can we disagree on this? Okay. They obviously just ran out of time, and if they were going to reuse any character, Larry was the best bet, because we all love Larry. He's amazing. He uses Flamigo. I love Flamigo. I also think it's really cool how they, like, have his ace in his first fight be Staraptor, which is a normal flying type, which kind of foreshadows him turning flying. So I don't know, it's pretty obvious that it's just a cut corner, but it's Larry. Hassel has a really cool team. I like Flapple. Design-wise, he doesn't do much for me. He just looks like some guy. I like that he's one of the teachers, but I really like how after you beat him, he just starts crying profusely. It was it was really fun to voice over. I think they're a pretty alright Elite Four. I think Rika and Larry hard carry bars. I also really like the quiz, the test at the beginning. I think it's really cool. it ties into the whole school thing, and I was like sweating profusely because I'm awful at tests. I don't really know why you're complaining about them. If I'm being honest. I mean, they all have 5 Pokemon each. That's really lame. I'd say this is like my 4th favorite Elite Four. I would say. I think it goes like Paldea, Unova, Hoenn, and then Alola. So I mean, being in the middle of the pack, that's not that bad to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't really, I don't really care that much in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, you're still here. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yep, so stay tuned until next time, where we talk about how I would fix the Elite Four as like a concept. If you thought it was interesting and you want to see more, I'm gonna make more, and you can't stop me. Thanks to Ash V for actually convincing me to finish this without knowing. So yeah, shout out to Ash V, he's very cool, and everybody else who I interviewed for the video. I've been recording for an hour, not counting the interviews because I haven't done those yet. This is gonna take a while to edit down, so I'll see you next time.